Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, August 15th. Hopefully, everyone's having a good morning. Wanted to go over my trade recap for this morning. What a frustrating day indeed. There's pros and cons to this morning's trading for me, and that was I had the right intent for all my stock selections, and I just wasn't able to capitalize, and needless to say, I'm going to go over my green day of $9.37. It is a green day, but because I had 3 losing trades, I think it was time for me to call it quits. Anyways, let's go through this because I do want to go through all my trades just for the simple fact that I want to show you the difference of trading a low float stock versus let's say a blue chip company like Walmart. So for now, let's start off with MU. And what's interesting about MU is I had it on my radar, and the simple being I had various trend lines on my daily chart. It was sort of trapped in between. It was trapped in between some trend lines, as you can see in the MU at the bottom right over here. But I lost going short, and let's just crack open the 5-minute, actually the 1-minute chart here, just to give you an idea of what was happening here. So when the market opened, you can see that it had a kind of a push up. It really couldn't hold or break the high of the pre-market conditions, and then it had a very strong, almost like an engulfing candle down. It almost was an engulfing candle, and the following minute, it popped up to the 9 EMA, and as it started to come down, I decided to take a short position. And really, this is sort of textbook sort of trading right here. The intent was there. It had the signs. I had enough signs for me anyways. I'm not saying that every single sign was there, but I had enough signs for me to take a short position. The good thing is it wasn't a very large position. I think I started with 500 shares. Okay, so it bounced out, came down a bit more. It kind of, muddled around the following minute. Kind of getting, it did hold the 9 EMA, so I stayed in it. It's when it started on the 4th minute candle, as you can see here, it started to dabble with the 9 EMA and start to push up, and I exited my position in full. And there you go. So it was a false breakout, and you can see it popped all the way up. However, it did not surpass that previous large engulfing candle. Started to come back down. Guys, here's another, for lack of better words, textbook play that I like to call it. Showed weakness here. Big wick at the top. Started to pull down. Dramatically came through all the moving averages, including the VWAP. I took a short position in anticipation of breaking this bottom wick candle, and as it started to go down, I just started pulling out my profits, exiting my full position. And the reason being is it came down, sort of started to muddle around here, and it wasn't a strong further pull down, so I exited my position here in full. Lo and behold, it did push all the way down to 41.75, and sort of that's kind of what my goal was, just to catch a 30 to 60 cent move. And anyways, between this loss on the first attempt, I made up some money back here on the second attempt, and ended up actually I'm going to close some of these windows because my CPU is lagging. So let's move on to my next trade. So I ended up losing $23 on that, and oh well. Let's move on to Walmart. Walmart, I had some some indications that perhaps we were going to get a strong push out of the gate, simply because it was sort of in line with the S&P or the SPY. This was actually something that I was kind of trending a bit with bear bull traders. I did have an actual, I think it was a 30 share buy-in pre-market, literally only 30 shares. Dabbled around, came down, touched the VWAP, started to push back up. I added 30 more shares. Now I had 60 shares. Market opened, had a beautiful, strong open. I added another 30 shares. However, this is where, I had to be quicker on my move here. And the idea was, when this pushed up almost a 70-cent gain, it clearly didn't surpass the high of pre-market conditions. And sure enough, it came up, came down, quick enough, and I exited my full position at a break even. I had a bit of slippage, a tad of slippage, so that rendered me an $18.30 loss with some slippage. However, the idea is once I did break this, I did have an automatic. I put on a break-even stop loss. I had that in place in hopes that this would pierce through and possibly get a couple of points out of it, just on 90 shares total. And I did have my stop loss, which is textbook condition for me, is to protect your investment. And anyways, ended up having a little bit of slippage, $18 loss. Let's move on to RKDA. This one, oh my God, this one burnt my ass because I had well over $300 in profits, and this is my highlight of my morning. This is what you call a low float stock, and you got to check this out, guys. If you looked at my recap yesterday, I had RKDA on my radar simply because of this engulfing push up here. And, I thought if it surpasses these previous trend lines, these horizontal trend lines I had, that, you could see some push going up to my other trend lines I had marked out, inclusive of this high of peak over here at this peak over here at 950, which represents some heavy duty milestones all the way back into June of last year. You can see that I had this marked out. So it's just a bit of a science here. It's unbelievable what happened to me this morning. But let's take a look at this. Let's break it down on the 1 minute chart. So I was going to let this simmer down because it is a low float. And you can see, look at the wicks on the open. Look at the wicks, huge wicks just going back and forth, back and forth. It wasn't until I wasn't interested until I started to see the fact that it started to push through, started to bring in some volume, as you can see down here, started to push through, surpassed the 9 EMA, 20 EMA, and the VWAP, still showing signs of strength. And this is where it started to get interesting for me, is when it started to break the pre-market highs, or let's say the market open highs. And as you can see, there's my first entry right here. It popped up and came up, and a couple minutes went by. I took some profits off the table. This is where I decided, guys, once again, as soon as it broke this consolidation area right here, I added to my position. Here's textbook for me. Pops up, started taking some profits. Now this is the part that just absolutely is killer. I was up $300 on this stock, and I was looking forward to it because between my win on my AMD and potentially this win on RKDA, I would have had about a $320, $350 day, and that would be perfect for me. And then here we are. It started to form a doji candle. I was trying to exit my position. I'm clicking on sell all, sell all, sell all. And it wouldn't fill my position. It would not fill my position. I'm like, what is going on? I got an order to sell all with a 5-cent spread, and it was not filling. And sure enough, within seconds, just boom, this plummets from 907 all the way down to 822. Just plummets. And this is a low float stock, low float garbage, I like to call it. And I lost all my $300 with like barely any shares left. I offloaded all my gains in my shares. I had hardly any shares left, and this sucker just took a dive and wiped out my gains for the day. So I thought after that, I dabbled with it for a potential breakout here. You can see this, guys. Dabbled with it. Small share count. I think it was 300 shares. Dabbled with it. Got out. Anyways, ended up, guys, taking a loss on that for $27 on my entire day, a $9.37 win. However, what's important about this was almost textbook trading in my opinion. It's just that when you deal with the low float garbage, this is exactly what happens. Thankfully, I got out alive, and the idea was I was trying to sell up here, and it would not fill my order, probably because it was just the books were heavy, and boom, it came down. So guys, till tomorrow, it'll be Friday. I hope everybody had a great morning trading. Although disappointed, I'm actually thankful and grateful because this could have been a lot worse situation, and my ideas and intents were all correct, and possibly my entries were just a little bit off, but my risk, I made sure my stops were in place, and I got out with minimal loss. I did gain $78 on AMD. That was a boring trade for me, anyways. But green is live the trade another day. So till tomorrow, guys. Have fun. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the morning. Take care.